Congressman Khanna of California. Congressman, thanks for joining us. As you heard, these voting rights bills are expected to fail in the U.S. Senate. Does President Biden have any options left when it comes to legislation?
He does. First of all, I'm really glad he's making a speech defending the fundamental right to vote, that he says that we ought to be able to pass this with 51 votes when it comes to equality. If it doesn't pass, I believe he will sit down with the leadership and the senators who voted against this to see what can we protect. Can we at least make sure that people can't be kicked off the rolls? Can we at least make sure everyone has ballot boxes and access to that?
As you know, Vice President Kamala Harris said today, and I'm quoting her now, she said, "We must not be complacent or complicit." Do Democrats, Congressman, need to more forcefully call out who's complicit in this deadlock?
Well, I have. I called out Senator Sinema's speech. I said, imagine if Senator Sinema was in the Senate in 1964, 1965, and the choice for her was pass civil rights legislation to desegregate America or pass the voting rights legislation to give every Black American the right to vote. And the choice was do it with 51 votes. Would she really say that she wouldn't vote for it if it couldn't overcome the filibuster? I don't think she would. So what is different now when you're talking about Black Americans and brown Americans voting rights? I think she should answer that question.
And let's not forget, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 Democrats may vote to oppose some sort of filibuster change, but all 50 Republicans in the U.S. Senate, they're opposed as well. So that's, I think, something we shouldn't forget. Nearly a year into the Biden presidency, Congressman, the president has failed to pass his signature Build Back Better legislation. There's no clear path forward on voting rights, at least not now. The country is suffering through yet another wave of the pandemic. The president's approval rating in our poll of polls down at 42%. Can the president get the country back on track?
Well, Wolf, I don't often quote James Carville, but we have to remind people of all we've done. The American Rescue Plan that's led to almost full employment in this country, the infrastructure bill that no president had been able to pass, the distribution of vaccines. So I agree that there are still challenges. We still need to figure out how we pass some version of Build Back Better. We need to figure out how we help our supply chains produce more to lower prices. But the president has a lot to run on, and we have a lot to be proud of as a Democratic Party.
That's a fair point indeed. Before I let you go, Congressman, I know you're calling for the CDC director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, to be replaced, saying, quote, and I'm quoting you now, "We need clear, better communication." Given all the uncertainty around this pandemic, you think someone else could do a better job?
Well, I tweeted out I thought Ashish Jha would be terrific. I know now people are saying I called for the ouster. I mean, look, what I think is we need someone like Dr. Ashish Jha, someone who is compassionate, who has been right on most of the calls, who understands that we need to be fast when it comes to masking and testing and getting that out there. There are others as well. But I do think that we need strong, empathetic leadership in that position.
Congressman Khanna, thanks as usual for joining us.
Thank you, Will.